Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. In our previous lectures, we talked about proportions of motion and proportions of time. Today, inshallah Rahman, we will discuss about proportions of place. First of all, I will tell you that what are proportions of place. Actually, these proportions tell us about the place or position of the noun or pronoun. For example, on, in, at, by, above, below, under, beside, near, behind, between, among, and against. These are all proportions of place because these proportions tell us about the place or position of the noun or pronoun. Now let us discuss the about let us discuss these proportions one by one. First of all, at means per. At is used when you are talking about a specific part of the area. So it's used when you are talking about the specific part of the area. It talks about a particular point. For example, at my house, at the cinema hall, at the bus stop, at the top. Therefore, at indicates a particular point or a specific part of an area. For example, plane stopped at Mumbai airport. This is a particular point, or we are talking about a specific part of an area. Okay, he lives at house number 14 Church Street. We are talking about a particular point in the Church Street. Okay, here we are again talking about a particular point in Mumbai. Therefore, we used the proportion of place at. Okay, now let's move towards in. In is used with a place as an area. It's used with a place as an area. For example, in the USA, in the bag, in the car. Here, examples, we stayed in Mumbai because I told you that in is used with a place as an area. Okay. He lived in Church Street. In is used with a place as an area. Here, my dear students, you can notice the difference between at and in. Here I told you that at is used with a specific part of the area. Example, plane stopped at Mumbai airport. Here I told you that is used as an area, with a place as an area. Here, but stayed in Mumbai. So there is a difference between and in. It indicates the part of the area, a specific part of the area, a particular point, and in indicates or shows or is used with a place as an area. So there's the difference between at and in. Now let's move towards under proportions of place. Look here, my dear students. On. On is more specific as to the place of any noun or pronoun. So it's more specific as to the place of any noun or pronoun. On का उधर meaning है ऊपर. It covers large area than at. Larger area. It covers larger area than at. For example, on the highway, on the table, on the floor, on janpat, on the railway, on my arm. Or it is also used. On is also used when a small thing is on the surface of a big thing. There we can also use on. For example, he met me on the way. The car got stuck on the railway track because I told you that on is more specific as to the place of any noun or pronoun. It is more specific. Okay, the book is kept on the table because I told you another use of on, that is used when a small thing is placed on the surface of a big thing. That's why I used here on. Okay, now let us move towards another proportion. By. My dear students, it indicates the place of any noun or pronoun with respect to another. So by indicates the place of any of a noun or pronoun with respect to another. By the roadside, by the gate. What does this mean? My dear students, it means that once something is just next to another, we can use the proportion of place by. When something is just next to another, there we use the proportion of place by. So it identifies the place of any noun or pronoun with respect to another. Or in simple words, when something is just next to another, we there use the proportion of place, that's by. For example, look here, my dear students, examples. We were standing by the waterfall. By the waterfall, they met me by the roadside. I told you that by is used when something is just next to another thing. Okay. Then above. Above identifies the place of any noun or pronoun with respect to another when it is higher than it. ये बहुत easy है. So it is used when something is higher than it. above the clouds, above the danger mark. The aeroplane is flying above the clouds. Here, it identifies the place with respect to another when it is higher than it. Okay, the pictures are above the couch. Then another proportion of place below. It identifies the place of any noun or pronoun with respect to another when it's lower than it. So position is lower than it, below the horizon, below melting point. The sun is below the horizon. Because I told you that below identifies the place with respect to another when it is lower than it. Okay, then under, my dear students, under, it identifies the place of any noun or pronoun, okay, with respect to another when it is lower. एक तो lower, it is lower, its position is lower and covered by it. Okay, for example, under the mat. First it is lower and another it is covered. Another mat, under the mat, under the tree. The girl is standing under the tree. Here we use the preposition under. Another preposition beside के साथ identifies the place of any noun pronoun placed next to another. Next to another. Beside me, next to me. Beside the book, next to the book. Keep the glass beside the book. Keep the glass next to the book. Okay. Then near, nazdik, identifies the place of any noun or pronoun to be within a reasonable distance to the other. Near my house, near the market. ये बहुत easy है बेटा. I am near the market. Then behind, पीछे, identifies the place of any noun or pronoun to be at the back of the other. To be at the back of the other. Behind my house, मकान के पीछे, behind us. The thief was standing behind us. Here the preposition of place behind is used. Between identifies the place of any noun or pronoun to be in the space which separates the two things. So between is used when space is used to indicate the space which separates the two things. Okay, between the two buildings, between me and her, like that road is in between both the buildings. This means one building is here, another building is here. It's road यहाँ से है. It's between the two buildings. Okay. So my dear students, this was all about the prepositions of place. Now I will give you some examples here. चीनी अलमारी में रखी है. Sugar is kept in the cupboard. मैं बैंक में नौकरी करता हूँ. I work in a bank. मैं चंडीगढ़ में PGI में पैदा हुआ था. I was born in Chandigarh at the PGI. Glass मेज पर रखा है and the glass is kept on the table. So this was all about today. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.